Hello everyone, this is Rachel Cassandra with Kizomba Community, here to give you an interview tonight with myself. I started dancing in 2005. I was studying abroad in France and was in this private school where there were no after-school activities at all. And I was bored out of my mind. I happened to get invited to a little country ball, and some people did a performance of Hungarian folk dances. And I knew a couple of the people in the group, and I was like, this is amazing. I want to do it. So I joined this little adult group of folk dancers. We did some performances in folk festivals, and that was super fun. When I came back to the United States, well, surprisingly enough, people weren't doing Hungarian folk dancing. So I got into ballroom. Very quickly picked up on all those dances just by going to socials and having the older people say, oh, a high schooler. You're so cute. When I went away to university, I started doing Lindy Hop because it was super social and just fun. That also got me traveling, going to different dance events. And because of Lindy Hop, I also started doing blues, which is also in the American vernacular tradition. I loved the close connection of blues. I loved the large vocabulary, the expressiveness, your ability to really interpret what's going on in the music. I finished university and went away to teach at a language institute in Morocco. And I figured, okay, you know, this is just gonna be a year without dancing. That's okay, it's a different culture there, it's gonna be a great experience. Well, to my surprise, within 1 week, someone had invited me out to a club, like straight up people wearing, you know, club attire and drinking, and I was shocked. But I found out that there was a salsa night. And I was like, oh, so people do partner dance here in Morocco. So I started doing salsa dancing and got invited to actually participate in a salsa contest with one of my teachers. And we worked so hard, so hard, and actually managed to take first place. So we got this Morocco national contest, whatever, they called us national champions. That was really great. I'd heard a few of my friends in the Latin dancing scene in Morocco talking about Kizomba and also talking about Zouk, and I had a couple people lead me to songs whose genre I couldn't really identify. I was very confused about the whole thing. So when I heard that a French couple was coming into Casablanca to do a workshop on Kizomba, I was like, okay, I have to go. I actually had my roommate and colleague lie for me and say that I was sick so that I could go out to this Kizomba workshop, because normally I should have been teaching as a language institute teacher on a Saturday. And no regrets on that. It was great. Got to do, I think, 3 or 4 hours of class. And that was my first taste of Kizomba, so I definitely had my interest confirmed. But after that, you know, there wasn't any chance for social dancing. I didn't get to dance with anyone that actually knew what they were doing. I didn't hear very much of the music. So, you know, it kind of just went to the back of my mind. But after my partner and I won the National Salsa Contest in Morocco, our prize was to go to this festival in Tunisia. And you know, this was a big salsa congress in Tunisia, but they also had a Kizomba teacher. And I met him, I was talking to him, came to a couple of his beginner classes that were, you know, recovering that same territory that I'd already learned from Doom. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely hooked, but I want to do more. So I asked this teacher, Nelson Campos, if we could have a private lesson. And he managed to find some time for me. And during that private lesson, that was it. I mean, I finished falling in love with Kizomba. I was thrilled. It had everything that I had liked from other dances, that close connection and groundedness, expressiveness of blues, but also the sensuality of Latin dancing. And I wanted more. Probably about 20 minutes, half an hour into the class, he just stops and says, come to England, train with me and be my partner. And I was like, it's not really nice to joke about these things, you know. Sometimes young girls have dreams that they know can't happen and, you know, shouldn't say things like this, you know, but he insisted that he was serious, so we kept dancing, whenever we get to the end of the hour, and he's still saying that's what he wants to happen. I gave him my contact information, you know, put him off for a bit, went on with my life, being serious. I'm a language teacher. This is what I do. And a year later, I gave up. I moved to England. I had to do more Kizomba. And so he was great. He trained me up. I started teaching with him after, I don't know how many hours of intensive practice, but they took about 2 or 3 weeks, and then boom, we were off and running. So I had this fantastic chance to learn Kizomba in Europe, but also at the same time be using those skills that I have as a trained teacher to be making it easier for students in class to actually learn quicker and understand more fully. So that was just like the perfect match for me. So I spent a year based in England, later also based in Ireland, just traveling to all these European festivals, both doing like weekend workshops and also like being part of larger Latin festivals, doing performances, and along the way getting to take classes and private lessons from some of the top teachers in Europe. So that was just basically a dream come true. I came back to the United States after that, was just fired up about getting the chance to share this love that I had and now this expertise with people in the United States. And I immediately started trying to collaborate with people, trying to meet all of the like movers and shakers for Kizomba in the United States, and was really pleased, in New York City, we were already at a pretty good level of Kizomba, and during the, 6 months that I was in and around New York City, it kept expanding. We were up to dancing almost every single night of the week. So that was really exciting. And while I was talking to people and exploring the scene in the United States, I realized there's this hole, there's this gap, there's something that we need. I was so frustrated about not being able to easily search for and find information about where to learn and where to dance Kizomba. You have to be a member of all these meetup groups and all these Facebook, groups, and you have to be on someone's mailing list, or you have to just know somebody that's gonna text you. And I'm someone that travels a lot. I have friends in a lot of cities in the US, and when I would go to San Francisco, or I would go to Denver, or I would go down to Florida, I was like, I'm sure someone must be doing Kizomba, but how do I find it? So that's where I got the idea to just start my own website, and that was how Kizomba Community was born. I wanted to have a place where you could easily come and search for whatever. You want to take a class, or you want to do a social, or you want to find out about a weekend event because you're willing to take a plane somewhere where there's going to be good teachers. And so I got a little bit of help and did a lot of studying because I had never made a website on my own power before, and kind of set that up as a resource. And I've been pouring hours into that ever since, but with great response. People have really been excited to have the chance to connect without having to do a lot of digging just to find that information. And I'm hoping that it's going to make it easy for people who are completely outside the dance community also to find it and connect. When I'm trying to explain Kizomba to people that have no idea what it is, I think the first thing that comes through is how excited I am about it. Kizomba is something that I just love. And I tell them, well, the music, it gets stuck in your head. It's like R&B, but polyrhythmic, and you can listen to it all day long. And for the dancing, I tell them it's relaxed, and it's this close connection. You create an intimate but safe space with your partner, and you totally get lost in the music. For people that want a kind of visual feel, I compare it to kind of relaxed Argentine tango, but with African movement in the core. Or for blues dancers, I say that it's a lot like close embrace blues without the pulsing. But in any case, I'm just thrilled that people ask. I have had the good fortune to travel to teach Kizomba in the United States. My idea has been to make Kizomba instruction accessible and affordable for people in smaller communities, or especially in places that haven't really had a chance to learn any Kizomba at all. And so when I'm going into a new place, I try to get in contact with anybody that might be doing any Kizomba at all to find out, okay, what do people know? What would people be interested in? If I'm offering classes in an area that is mostly concerned with salsa dancing, then I'm going to teach those basics in one way. If I'm coming into a tango studio, I'm going to appeal more to what they already have, their good frame and, you know, the intricate footwork. If I am coming into an area that does a lot of blues dancing, I recently taught a class by an irrigation ditch on the top of a mountain at a blues camping expedition, and there I was, you know, talking about the groundedness and the relaxed connection. But I think overall right now in the US, we have so many people just starting out that most of the time I am teaching beginner material. In those places where people have a local teacher and they've already had the chance to get a certain level, I love, love, love collaborating with those people that are in the know and saying, okay, what can we do to bring your scene to the next level? I like teaching classes that are mostly technique based, so mastering how to do great pivots, because that opens up so many other moves, or really getting the fundamentals of your saída correct so that you have the body movement lead that enables you to do so many other variations, or doing things like slow motion and syncopation, or playing with foot tricks. I would say most of my classes I try to pick a theme, I teach the technique that fits that, and then we do some sample moves. There might be a little bit of choreography, but I don't like my lesson to be all about choreography, because I don't find that people take that away and are able to use it in the social dancing. And for me, Kizomba is all about the social dancing. It's that feeling, the connection that you get to do with people. When I'm coming into a new city, depending on the size of the event, I'll do a couple different things. For just a small little beginner taster, I'll focus on social media, mostly Facebook, and of course I put my event on my site, KizombaCommunity.com. If it's gonna have possibly a little bit more of a draw, or in different communities, I create little postcard flyers. I'm not a graphic designer by any means, but I have worked on creating things that are at least presentable, as well as communicating the necessary information. And that gives people something that they can hand to their friends, or something that can be left out in the studio as kind of like passive marketing. But I would say that my greatest asset in promoting Kizomba events is local people. I get in touch with the salsa community and the blues community and West Coast swing and tango, and, you know, just try to appeal to the larger dance community so that Kizomba gets to keep growing. For me, it's such a blessing to see that our Kizomba community in the United States is a community. We really have organizers that care about helping each other out. Collaboration has been such a strong thing here in the United States. And that's a joy for me. I'm so pleased that we don't have people that are letting their ego dominate, or too much political fighting over slices of the pie. Maybe some of that will come as our scene gets bigger, but I hope not. I hope that we're going to stay focused in feelings of wanting to help each other, growing the community, sharing our passion for this dance that we love so much. For more videos like this, and to get connected to Kizomba all over the United States, go to KizombaCommunity.com.